Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this amazing live. I really appreciate it, right? So we're going to wait for our guests to come on, and then we're going to dive in deep to how to date with purpose, all right? So drop where you're from, and have an amazing night. Thank you. Drop where you're from in the comments. Let us know where you're from, because this live is about to be dynamic. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be a blessing. So get your notepads, your notebooks ready, and just prepare to be blessed, right? Prepare to be blessed. So just let me know where you're from. I'm from New York. Let's see where everybody's from. All right. So we're waiting for our guests to come on right now. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you're happy, right? I hope you got your notepad ready. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Keisha, I'm great. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm doing good. I'm excited that you're on right now. I'm excited for the information that people's about to get. And first and foremost, I want to say thank you for joining me today on
Oh,
this
thank you
live.
for having me. Yes.
It's a pleasure, and I'm happy, right? So let's just jump right into it and let our guests know who you are and like what you
Perfect.
do.
Perfect. So I'm the Back to Love Doc, but my real name is Dr. Diane Strakowski. But because Strakowski is such a mouthful, just call me Diane.
Hmm.
I'm a licensed psychologist. I am originally from Chicago, but I am now in California. So I'm a private practice. I coach individuals, mostly women, but men too,
Okay.
on finding love. I'm a dating expert, but I'm also a couples therapist.
Hmm.
So, in fact, it just got off with a couple that I was
Hmm.
seeing. And that's my passion. That's what I do because I love helping people figure out. And the older I get,
Hmm.
you probably appreciate this too. Relationships are like the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
What
why
it's
you
all
have to
about.
date with purpose, right?
That's
In
right.
order to get to that point.
That's
And
right.
that's what you're here to let us know. One thing that you said just now was like one of the most amazing P words ever, and you said passion. And I think that's like what made you. I know that we're about to get into this, but I love to know about people's stories and what made them get from point A to
Oh,
point B.
yeah.
So what made you passionate? How did that happen?
Oh, my God. So, Keishorne, my story was that
Hmm.
I was in graduate school forever. It takes an incredibly long time. And
Yeah.
I was a little late to the dating game, quite honestly. Like, I
Hmm.
had a lot of relationships, but I made it later in life. And I woke up and said, oh my God, like while I was helping everybody else, I wasn't helping myself.
Wow. Hmm.
And I have to admit that I was even in therapy myself. I had been
Hmm.
to 7 different therapists, and not a single one said to me, Diane, I think you have an anxious attachment style.
Hmm.
And because and then I actually quit therapy, figured
Hmm.
it out on my own, figured out that I had anxiety rooted to my childhood. And then I decided to become intentional about my own love life. I dated with a mission, with a
Hmm.
purpose. I had a calendar. I dated 50 men, and my husband was the 51st man I met online.
Hmm.
And then I said, I am going to make this my life's passion to give other people, give women what I didn't get,
Hmm.
which is all the things that weren't even available. I mean,
Yeah.
Instagram wasn't available. And I said, this is what I'm going to do because the process was more painful than it should have been. And had
Hmm.
I only known that I had an anxious attachment style, I could have solved it earlier.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to help people do, not struggle and suffer so much by
Hmm.
learning through what I didn't do,
Yeah.
which I wish I knew. And so that's my purpose. And I
Yeah.
created a love style quiz. And now I have a whole model that works
Yeah.
with all of this.
I mean, I think that's excellent. The reason why is because you went through your storm, you went through the pain
Oh,
in
yeah.
order to get to your purpose, not only, for the relationship, but into your own purpose. So learning about dating and the process of dating didn't even get you your husband or the relationship. It actually got you to who you were meant to become, right?
I tell you, it's
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I kind of even knew it at the time. Like my friends would
Uh-huh.
always be like, oh, you have to write a book about this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to first solve it.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and then I need to, be my own testament,
Yeah,
and I'm a Catholic Christian person, and I was
yeah,
always praying to God, like, what do I need
absolutely.
to learn? And it
Yeah,
was like I needed to learn this first,
yeah,
right? You
and
learn it the hard way, and then you
yeah.
teach it.
And that's the amazing part. And what I want to thank you for is actually honesty, because a lot of people don't really tell the truth. They want to tell you this their fairy tale lifestyle of how they met Prince Charming, or met this wonderful woman, and then before you know it, they're happy again. They don't tell you the storm or the messy part that really took you from point A to point B. So your honesty is appreciative to a lot of the people on this live. And that's,
And
yeah.
right, if you don't personally know how to handle a narcissist, or you don't
Hmm.
know how to handle somebody ghosting you,
Hmm.
then it's really hard to just say do this,
You're
right?
going deep now. You're going deep
Yeah,
now, Diane. You're
yeah,
going deep. All right. So let's jump into the first
yeah,
question before we turn
yeah,
this into a 2 hour live and we here all night.
absolutely.
um, so what is dating with purpose? That's the first question, right? And it's very brief, like date with
Yeah,
purpose, because we hear that a lot.
yeah.
So what is dating with purpose? What it is to date with purpose?
Well, to date with purpose means, again, with intention, because I think oftentimes people end up, they kind of fall into relationships
Hmm.
and they're not being intentional at the start. So what happens is you, like, maybe you hook up with someone and then you catch feelings for them. But this person already said to you they just want casual, right? And now you're trying to chase after something, which if you had been purposeful or intentional about what you wanted and needed to feel safe and secure at the beginning, you
Hmm.
could have actually figured out what that person was, but you slipped in the back way,
Hmm.
and that wasn't really authentically yourself, or you pretend to be someone else.
Hmm.
Okay. So I have a lot of anxious needs and I really need a commitment, but I pretend that I'm a cool girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm cool with casual. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. And then what happens is I've not taken care of my heart. I've not protected myself because I
Yeah.
told you this was okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not know it. But if I knew myself, if I knew my authentic self, that this is really what I needed, why didn't I ask for it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the first of all, let's sidetrack, and I want to tell people about your personality, right? And on your page, you have this spunky personality, which it really generates a lot
I'm
of
sassy.
excellent, yeah, and that's excellent content, because there's not a lot of people like you with that kind of like purpose, passion, or style. So keep doing that, because that right there
Ah,
is
thank
like
you.
it's excellent. So back
Yeah,
to the point, what you said was amazing, right? Authentic. You got to be your authentic
got it.
self. But how do you know that you're not being authentic? Because if you're not authentic, you're fraudulent, right?
That's right.
So, mhm,
Yeah, if you're like hoping I'll snatch him first,
mhm,
and then when he gets to know me, I'll show
mhm,
him these other sides of me. Well, that's
mhm,
clearly not being authentic. And what
mhm.
happens is lots of people do this, and I want to talk about just the different types of attachment styles, because
Yeah.
then the narcissist is more usually the avoidant type. And so this avoidant type will also, they get a bad rap of being a player, but
Mhm,
really what they need is just something different, which is like space and peace.
mhm,
And they will come at you one way, but then
mhm.
they'll change. So from the beginning, I'm contacting you all the time. But now what happens is when somebody gets into hot water, that's when their true personality comes out. And
Yeah.
that's when we see who they really are. And then they back off. And
Yeah.
now you feel like because you didn't date with intention or purpose, that you got blindsided.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. But really, that person was who they are. But at the beginning, we kind of fake good,
Yeah, yeah. And that's the truth, because a lot of
right?
times we want to give people our best self in the
Oh, yeah.
beginning. Our best. I want you to see me without blemishes. I want to see a perfect self, but I'm not really going to let you know too much yet, or I don't want the real me to come out because you might not like it. And I want to make sure I get you before you notice who I really am.
That's right.
And sometimes for a lot of people, they will notice that. They're like, oh my, how did I miss that? You missed that because you fell in love too fast and you wanted a relationship so bad that you missed all the red flags,
Because
right?
love is a drug. Okay. Literally, there have been studies. Okay.
Yeah.
Put the person in a photo emission topography and you look at their brain when they
Hmm.
are in love, and literally it lights up the
Yeah.
same areas that if you were
Yeah.
on drugs. In
Yeah.
fact, drug addicts can't actually fall in love.
Yeah. I believe it's a dopamine, right?
That's right. But
Exactly. Yeah.
all the centers are the same. So
Yeah.
we realize that we fall in love. And then again, if you have sex with the person, you've got oxytocin that you produce. Now you've got a
Yep.
whole hormonal storm happening.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to pick out who they are
Yeah.
really and who you are. But you have
Yeah.
to, over time, if you could do this more authentically and show up in your power and who
Yeah.
you are, no apologies,
Yeah.
then we're going to get somewhere. Now we've got a
Yeah.
possibility for something.
And that's exactly because you got to be an unapologetic self,
That's
right? And a lot of people, they lose themselves in the dating before they even get to the real
absolutely.
relationship, before they even get to the substance part, right? You lose yourself in a dating
Who you
game.
think they want you to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're acting.
But sometimes two people, it could be
Yeah,
two people who's acting too. And
yeah.
some people are really good actors, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
what is one of the biggest challenges you see, right? I know that you touched on a lot of
yeah,
different ones,
yeah,
especially with the, not being authentic. But what are
yeah.
one of the biggest challenges in the dating experience?
I was thinking about this. I think there's three. I think
Hmm.
there's fear, just fear in general. Fear
Okay.
of getting hurt, fear of abandonment, fear of this one not working out again, fear of lost opportunity costs, right? Time,
Hmm.
money, all of those things. Two, you can't get over your ex.
Oh.
You're
Hmm.
still hung up on him. I know you talk a lot about this,
Hmm.
right? You can't, like, the fantasy of the ex you can't get over, right?
Yeah.
So you pretend that you're dating, but really you're comparing all of them and you're secretly hoping that they'll see you in your story or something, that maybe they'll think you're out on a date with someone else. And so,
Wow. Yep.
you know,
Yep. That's
yeah,
it.
so you're not really being present. It would be
Hmm.
better that you take a real break, detox yourself from that
Hmm.
person, and then get clear instead of kind of fake dating.
Yeah, and that's the word, right? I always tell people, like in the beginning stage, the detox stage is very important. That's the separation part,
That's right.
right? And you have to separate yourself from your ex. And people say, "Oh, are you sure? I'm gonna still check up on them, seeing how she's doing." No, that's none of your business. What he or
Exactly.
she's
None of
doing
your
and what they're
business.
doing is none of your business.
That's
And
right.
it's so hard because they're so hooked and attached
Right. That's
to,
right.
to the wrong things. It's
That's
because
right.
they're familiar with them. And you
That's
was
right.
once in love and things, and that's okay. But at some point, and you said this earlier, I should have wrote it down. You said something really, really good earlier. But it gets to a point in your life where you have to like grow up. And you got to say, you know what? Enough is enough. It's either I want to be my authentic self or I'm going to just be this hurt person walking
Yeah.
around and blaming myself. Right. So what was the.
And you're
Mhm.
going back to the person who hurt you in the first place. They're not going to heal you,
Yes.
right? You got to heal yourself,
Yeah.
and then you've got to say, I'm done with this. And I know, even for myself, Keishorne, when I came to this point, because how I became anxious in the first place is
Hmm.
usually in childhood. My parents were both very anxious people. They were
Hmm.
Polish immigrants. I mean, literally, my dad
Yeah.
was at the end of World War II. Just
Yeah.
tough lives. But my mother was a little bit self-absorbed in her anxiety. So
Hmm.
who do you think I'm going to be attracted to?
Yeah.
Self-absorbed,
It's over.
narcissistic
Yeah.
men, right?
Yeah.
I had to come to the point where I'm like, I'm done with that. Done,
Hmm.
done. No. Because I knew what I was going to get. And you got to get to that point. That's
Hmm.
also part of dating with intention, is like getting a little sassy, getting a little bit
Yeah.
over it, getting a little like mad about it. Like,
Yeah.
this didn't work. It would be insanity for me to keep doing that.
That's it. Saturday. Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah.
You got to get over that. So, three
Yeah.
things: fear, your ex, and then no plan.
Hmm.
So, this is the thing that people think. They think love should happen organically.
Hmm.
Love should happen when you're not looking.
Hmm.
And I say the only thing that happens when you're not looking is you get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hmm.
Because usually, especially the older you get. Now, if you're younger, sometimes it can happen because you just are around more people, right? But
Yeah.
the older you get, how are they going to find you? What is your plan?
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to find you? They won't know where you are, so you have to send out some bait, right?
Yeah.
Some green flags. Like, you got to do something
Yeah.
to create the momentum. You talk about momentum
Yeah.
to get this going. And
Yeah.
it's okay. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel
Yeah.
like I'm desperate. This is what everybody's
Yeah.
doing. That's
Yeah.
what intentional people do.
Yeah.
right? You don't just get a great body by not working out and putting
No.
energy into it.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan. You go to the gym. You got to do something.
And that's the third one. I think that's perfect because a lot of people don't have a plan. They just wing it, right? And then they read a bunch of social media posts and they try to put it together. And you really don't. Social media posts is to inspire you, right?
They're
Encourage you.
quotes. Yes.
They're quotes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's it, right? So they're not
Yeah.
really solid a plan that's jot
Right.
down that's going to take you from here to here, from
That's
there
it.
to there, right?
That's
It's
it.
not. So you
Yeah.
have to sit down and say, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know where I want to go, and that comes with acceptance. You have to accept the fact
That's
that
right.
you don't know where. And a
That's
lot of
right.
people, they don't want to accept it. They just
Yeah.
want to feel like they're always right. You ever
Yeah.
spoke to people or clients, even clients, people will pay for sessions and get on the phone and think that they're right. And I'm like, okay, so why are we here? It seems to me that you got it all together.
I said, so, right, you're paying for my advice, please. And
Yeah,
I also say, I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not going to
yeah,
tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear.
yeah.
And you may not like it. But it's again back to you can't see your blind spots, right? And
Hmm.
you need a mirror, and I need to show you the mirror of what this looks like from the, and because I work as a couples therapist, I'll say, keep doing that.
Yeah.
What's the other person's perspective?
Hmm.
Right? So you would love this, Keisha, and I talk about the difference between the golden rule versus the platinum rule.
Hmm.
So,
Okay,
so
I'm
we
ready.
were,
I'm ready.
okay. The golden rule is do unto your partner the way you do unto others the way you would like to be done unto, right?
Hmm.
But what if your partner is different than you? What if your partner has a different attachment style? So, like, I'm the anxious, nervous type, and I want connection and closeness, and you're the avoidant, independent type, and you want space and difference. So,
Mm,
I'm thinking in my head, if he loved me, he would be calling me, he would be texting me, he would be checking in with me. But you're you.
that's not. Yeah.
Okay. So you have to use what we say in couples therapy, the platinum rule. And the platinum rule is do unto your partner the way they want to be done unto.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
see, I need a manual for you. I
Yeah.
need a manual to understand your love language. I need to understand what you need and want, not what I need and want, because now I'm superimposing. And now, if it's all about me and my needs and you hurt me, you hurt me. Okay.
Hmm.
If I lead with that, what do you think as a man?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Um, I think that's true, right? Because I was just thinking about a
Yep.
situation that I was in,
Mm-hmm.
with my wife, right?
Okay.
And she's listening to it too, and she just on here, and I think that's true. That's why I always tell people. A lot of people they want what they want, right? But they
Yep.
don't know themselves. I
Right.
don't think a lot of people know themselves, or what was it? They don't know. They know what they want, but they don't know how to give other people what they want. It's like if
Yeah.
we're dating right now, right?
Yeah.
If we're in a relationship, I'm only going to think of what I want, right?
That's right.
I'm only going to think about what I want. And when you come to the table, it's like if you're not giving me what I need, then you're not my type. You're wrong for me. You're not the
Yep.
person. But
Yep.
if I understand, like what you were saying, if I understand who you are, if I take the time
Yes.
to understand or learn
Yes.
you, and
Yes.
that's one of the process with my wife. We're kind of like the opposite but the same in a way, but it's a perfect match, right? It's like a good, pot of stew, with
That's
the
right.
information.
That's the
So
whole thing. It's like we
yeah,
have to also be curious about our partner. We have to say, tell me what you want and need.
that's it. Yeah,
Curiosity
yeah,
is so
that's
important because I'm not assuming I know
yeah.
better. I'm asking.
Yes, that's right. That right there. Wow. That I hope everybody's taking notes. I hope everybody has a pen and paper. Curiosity, because
Curiosity is everything.
that's an excellent word, right? And when you're curious, it's like you're eager to
Yes.
know what I love
Yes.
you and I want to become better at loving you. I
Yes.
can't be better at loving you thinking that I know you already because in a
Yes.
relationship, we're consistently growing and learning. So
Yeah.
when I got to a point in my marriage where I felt like I didn't know you. We're still growing. You have different friends, you have different
Things
experiences.
change. People
Things
change.
change
Yes.
exactly. So
Yes.
that is, that's a quote. I'll probably write that down and put you in it because you got to be curious
You got
about
to
your
be
partner
curious.
and not think that you just know it and you know them all together, right?
Yeah, this is how people get hurt. I have a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
where right? Like, let's say they've been married for 20 years. And at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, she said, don't worry, my birthdays aren't important. I don't care about holidays. Now, 20 years later, she's crying. It's their anniversary because her husband hasn't done anything for him.
Oh,
She
yep.
also kind of set the tone for this at the beginning. And so that's why I say dating with purpose is also so important, Keishorne, because at the beginning, you're setting the tone for what your expectations are, what's important to you. If I'm being authentic at the start, I say, I got to be honest with you, my birthdays are a big deal.
Yeah. You plant that seed already. You plant it. You plant it. So now, yeah.
I'm a big planner. Let's go big every year. I'll help you, but like, I like my birthdays.
Yeah.
Be authentic, because now what you're going to happen is you hit at the beginning and it's not going to pay off in the end. Okay. Like, where is this going to go? You have to be future minded.
Yeah.
In terms of the stuff you're doing now is going to either pay benefits, being curious with your partner, or it's going to come to bite you later.
Yeah. So off topic, not even off topic, we're still on topic, we're still on the road. But you said to me that you have 5 steps, like a 5-step plan.
I do.
So I want to hear it. I got my pen and my paper ready, just like everybody else. Mm-hmm.
So you're going to love this, because these 5 steps for success, you could use in anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a template. Actually, a Harvard-trained psychologist came up with this. So I'm borrowing this from him. 1, have a vision. What's your vision? Okay. What's your vision for your future? All right. You got to write down like who you are, what your traits and your strengths are. What's your vision for your man? What's your vision for your relationship together? And I tell people, make a vision board. Don't make a Disney board. Okay.
All
right. A Disney board is fantasy, The Notebook, Pretty Woman. He's going to come save you. No. Okay. Do have a vision, because you can't find something if you don't know where you're going. Okay.
That's right.
And the problem is, if you haven't learned, because you haven't been surrounded by successful people, you need some role models of good couples. Okay. In your vision, you have to make it more concrete. Like, what is this going to look like? That's why, like, people loved, Michelle and Barack Obama. They had a good marriage. They were role models.
Yeah.
Okay. Look for role models in your life, in your vision. 2, you got to have a strategy. Okay. This is back to the plan, dating with intention. You have to have a strategy. How are you going to meet them? Okay. The number 1 way people meet, right?
Internet,
online. Okay. Number 1, 30 to 40% of people meet online. Number 2, most popular, is you meet through friends of friends. Okay. That's about 30%.
Yeah.
Number 3, church.
Yeah.
11% of people meet at church. Number 4, work. 10% of people meet at work. The last one, random. You meet somebody on the train, you meet somebody at the airport. Okay. You've got to have a strategy. What apps are you going to go on? What's your profile going to look like? How are you going to choose good pictures? What's going to be your write-up?
Yep.
And I tell people this, okay? I've done focus groups on this. I say, how important is it for you to find love on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay. Most women say 8, 9, or 10. 90% of women. That's how important it is. 10 being the most important. Then I ask, how many hours a week are you spending dating? 0 to 1. So it's the most important thing to you, but you're not spending any time doing it. Ooh, there's a mismatch there. It's like I'm looking for, I say I need a job, but I'm not doing anything to find a job, right? Okay, so that's the strategy. You're going to ask your friends, you're going to go to church, you're going to get online. What are you going to do? Okay. Number 3, mindset. Okay. Mindset is everything. I'm a trained cognitive behavioral therapist. I trained at Stanford. This is what I do. Okay. What you think is tied to how you feel and then how you act. Okay. It's everything. Mindset is everything. If I think there are no good men out there, what do I find?
No good men.
No good men out there. If I think it only takes one and I'll find him, then I'm going to find him.
Yeah.
Okay. Mindset is everything. So I help people literally like write it down. What's the negative thought? What's the evidence for it, against it? You have to reframe. You take the negative thought out and replace it with a thought that you believe to the same extent. Okay. That's mindset. 4, tenacity. You can't quit. Quitting is not an option. You are going to do this until you don't have to do this anymore. Okay? You cannot quit. And 5 is you got to be flexible. Okay? Because this is where people keep doing the same thing. I'm going to meet him at church. I'm going to meet him at church. God's going to bring him to me at church. But you're not shifting. You're not being flexible. You can't pivot. Okay? What if church is closed in a pandemic? You got to pivot and get online. Okay?
That's Internet.
So if you do those 5 steps, vision, strategy, mindset, tenacity and flexibility, you can do anything. Those 5 steps right there, that's golden.
Yeah. No, those are really, really good, you know. And even the part, what got me, all right, I got to take a deep breath, right? What really got me, right, was the plan for the online dating, right? Because I've spoke about that so much times, and I've reviewed people's page and their pictures are blurry, right? The pictures, you have to really look a little bit to see who they are.
Who are they with 10 other friends, right?
Oh my gosh. Or it might be an old picture from 2016 that you find is pretty, but you know, you put on a little bit of pounds. So now you're not 150 no more. You're about,
it's got to be in the last
195.
Year.
It has to be with the last 6 months to
right.
6 months to a year. So that right there, or the bio, you know, like what does your bio say? How detailed is it?
Okay, so I have a couple tips. First of all, you know, everybody's visual. We hate to admit it, but pictures tell everything. Your pictures should tell a story. It's a carousel. You have 5 to 7 pictures. Don't say you're athletic. Show a picture of you in your athletic outfit, right? Your pictures can go a long way. The bios nowadays, depending on which app, are super short. But you know what you have to have that people don't know? This is a golden tip. You got to have bait, okay? Don't just say, like, I'm loyal, I'm looking for a boyfriend. Say, like, I make the best margaritas, or I love chocolate mint ice cream. I've given you some bait. So now you, on the other end, reading this, can say, oh, margaritas, tell me your recipe. What's your favorite place? I've got something to respond to, right? Drop the
conversation
bait instead of that's right. These are conversation starters instead of a list of what you're looking for. And then you're pissed when the guy, like, I said, I'm not looking for someone like that. I'm like, it wasn't meant to be that.
Yeah. And one of the things that people who's common and need to understand as well too, you know, a lot of you guys are saying that you don't like online dating, you're scared, you know, online dating is similar to real life dating. Because dating is gathering information. Dating is not that you're in a relationship with anyone. All you're doing is gathering information, also working on your skills, working on your social skills, and seeing if you can still have a conversation. Because if you're in your house in quarantine and you're just, you know, texting all the way, that's a form of conversation, but that's not a real substance conversation. Yep.
People forget the art of dating, which is meant to be playful and fun and flirty. And like, it doesn't have to be so serious. I say, like, lighten up.
Yeah.
You're like looking for a partner. You want to laugh with them and have fun. If it's so serious, it's like an interview. Well, who wants to do that?
I don't want to do that. I'm offline. I'll see you later. Nope.
Yeah, like, we forget. We take it. Of course, the outcome is serious and you want to choose the right person, but the process doesn't have to be so painful.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that everyone who is saying that, oh my God, I can't do this, scary, is because you think that it's supposed to be a serious process. No, all you're doing is gathering information, talking to people. You don't have to meet them. All you want to do is just see how it goes.
I called myself a professional dater. I mean, I would line it up. I'd have like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. Like, and I'm like, this is like a lot of fun, nice men I'm meeting. And like, I get to go out and like have a good time.
Yeah.
And 99% of those, if I date 100 people, aren't going to work. I can't see them as all personal failures.
Yeah. And then the thing about it too, what I think people need to understand is that when you date people, it's not that you're in a relationship. So she didn't say she was in a relationship with them. You're dating them, which means I'm getting to know you. I might do lunch. I might do brunch. I might do breakfast. Or sometimes we might not even meet at all. And we're just communicating via phone or texting or video app. You know, there's different forms of that as well. So don't think that you have to be in a relationship, be committed to people. You can date multiple.
came up with like 4 stages of dating. What you're talking about is the get to know you phase, right? We're getting to know
Yep.
each other, finding out what we have in common. Do we catch feelings? How do we feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Step 2 is going a little bit deeper. Do we want the same things? Are we on the
Mm-hmm.
same path? Do we both have the same religious values,
Yeah.
lifestyle?
Yeah,
Step
exactly.
3, though, another thing we don't talk enough about
Mm-hmm.
is what happens in all relationships. The whammy is
Mm-hmm.
uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
That at any point in stage 1, 2, 3, and then you have to have the define the relationship talk at stage 2,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, uncertainty can show up at any phase, though, because this is such an important decision. And now I wig out because maybe I can't handle conflict and you're bringing a little conflict or something else.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to stage 4, which is finally what you talk about is moving along. And this is where we have what I call the define your future talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've already defined your relationship like your boyfriend, girlfriend, but sometimes it stalls out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you get in this, you've been together for 6 years because you were young and you both are like
Mm-hmm.
building your career, but now you're getting anxious. All your girlfriends are getting married and you are
Huh.
still the girlfriend and you want to be
Yep.
the fiance, right?
Yep.
So uncertainty can happen, but like you've got to have the communication skills. I say, listen, you're going to have some big grown-up conversations. You have to
Yeah.
be
You
able to
have to
talk
have them.
about this.
Have to. Yeah.
And oftentimes what happens, I find I have a lifestyle quiz and I have people who are high expressive, meaning they can speak these things, but a lot of people are low expressive. And what's
Mm-hmm.
fascinating, I've got data from 40,000 people now. The low expressive people are more likely to be single.
Mm.
Okay. So I have to teach them. I give them scripts. Let's
Yeah.
practice. I'm
Yeah.
the guy, you're me. What would you say? What's your narrative? How do you ask me for what you want? And we
Yeah.
practice. So it's not so scary.
Yeah. And that's why you have to take the time of being single also to work on the skills that you're not strong at. And that's how you develop better skills and stronger skills in order to use for your partner as well.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I had a conversation with someone today actually about conversation.
Yep.
And you know, the conversation went really well. And he was saying how, for his partner, he could talk, right? He could talk. And I'm like,
Yep.
wow, that took me a long time to really talk or express myself. Right. My
Yes.
wife was always expressive. Me, I'm like, you know what, whatever. It is what it is.
Well,
But
you know what it is,
mhm,
Keishorne? That means they grew up in a family where they didn't learn how to
mhm,
be vulnerable because they didn't have parents that said, like, how do you feel? And
mhm.
so now you're confronted with your partner that says, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's really a skill that you didn't learn, and nobody said that this is safe for you to be vulnerable. And so as the partner now, if that's my partner who
mhm,
doesn't know how to do this, I have to create safety for them and I have to model for them what is
mhm.
vulnerability.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
could just hit him on the head like, you're not being vulnerable, you're not sharing. But I'm part of this, right? I
yeah,
got to bring this out in you.
yeah. And that's you got to bring it out, and that's how
Yeah.
somebody really cares about you too. When someone is bringing the best out of you, because that's not the worst, that's the best. So when someone could really dig within you and bring out something that you're uncomfortable, but something that's needed, it's uncomfortable but needed. That's when you know that okay, this person, they supportive. They love me, they care about me. There's something special going on here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can crack through that, and that's why I have a hard time, like I'm not a kind of
Hmm.
coach who says like you're in or they're out or get rid of
Hmm.
him, because like we can all pretend we're queens. Oh, he's not good
Hmm.
enough for you. But then what? You keep circling through all the same people, and
Hmm.
like at some point, what are you doing to create an atmosphere, and you're
Yes. Yeah.
half responsible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like we can give people in these quips and these quotes some kind of advice that
Yeah.
says, like, really kind of get rid of everyone.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be helpful. You need to get better at staying put. You need to get
Yeah.
better at creating an envelope of
Hmm.
safety for your partner. You need to help pull them out to be more vulnerable. And
Yeah.
then if they can't, despite your best efforts, you bring it, you're great, you're as secure as possible, and they
Hmm.
can't match you, then that's something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Then
we
it's
talk.
time to
Hmm.
go.
Yeah. So we talked about that, right? So let's stay on this topic right here because I think we're swerving into
Yeah.
relationships now.
Yeah.
So how do you keep a relationship going? So just to say we went through the whole stage that we spoke about.
Yeah.
We went through the whole dating stage. We good. We happy. How do you keep the momentum now?
Well, I think so much of it is that what happens is this. Back to my other question when I said, if I keep leading with like how you've disappointed me and how hurt you are, what do men think? You
Hmm.
didn't say this because you're a nice guy, Keishorne, but I think men think one of two things. They either think I'm a bad guy
Yeah.
because I hurt you,
Yeah.
okay, and that means I'm an asshole or
Yeah.
a jerk,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I think you're a little,
Yeah.
you're a little emotional, and
Yeah.
you want too much. Which one is he going to choose?
The first one.
Oh,
No.
okay, you're different, Keisha. Most men are going to choose number two. They're going to think
Uh-huh.
you want too much. I'm never going to make you happy. Okay.
Mm.
All right. You're a woke man. You
Mm.
you you understand this. Um,
Mm.
but men want to feel respected. They want to feel
Mm.
good about themselves. They want to
Yeah.
feel like they have something to offer. And the problem is keeping the momentum going
Hmm.
is you got to talk about the positivity instead of the negativity. Because if you keep leading with all the things that he's not doing and how hurt and upset you are that it didn't move forward faster, that's negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead, if you lead with, you know, I've dated a lot of people and I got to tell you, you're the best match I've ever met.
Hmm.
You know, I think we've really got something and I think we're a great team together, don't you? Okay, you do. So what do you think we should do as a couple to move this forward?
Yeah. You see, I like the word that we part shows that we're a team, and you're not doing it. I'm not asking you. Let's
Yeah,
do this together collectively. Hmm.
right? That's different than when are you going to get a ring? How are you going to do this?
Yep.
Moving forward is with me. Again, back
Yeah.
to the platinum rule. We're in this together and we're building a future here. You should be my best friend. I should be able to tell you
Yeah.
everything. And so I want to talk the language of we. And
Yeah.
that's what's going to move you forward.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
going to keep the momentum going.
That's good. So all right. So with the guy situation,
Yep.
right? You have someone who's hearing negativity, and he
Yep.
disconnects, right?
Yes.
So that's one of the things that's most likely guys are going to do. If they keep hearing the same thing over and over, like you're not
Yep.
doing this, you could be doing this. Well,
Yeah.
this person's man is doing this. She got married and she's been dating, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
he starts to disconnect, right?
Yep.
How can that couple reconnect before yeah.
Well, because she needs to turn it around and she needs to say, the trouble is we can have, um, what's the word for it? I mean, can have concerns, but I can't have
Hmm.
complaints. Okay.
Hmm.
Ask directly for what you want. Don't compare and say somebody else's man is doing it better because he's
Yeah.
going to feel like that. That's not right. Just say,
Yeah.
I need more from you. You know who I am. I'm a really anxious person. I just need more attention from you. Can you
Yeah.
give that to me?
Yeah.
Then again, you're speaking from the heart. You're being authentic. You're just breaking it down. But I literally will be in session with a couple and she's going on and I'll look at the guy and I'll say, do you know what she's talking about? And he'll
Hmm.
look at me like, oh my God, you don't either. And
You
we both have to laugh. And I
know.
have to say, try it again and try it again because I
Hmm.
have to help people to get to make their message more clear about what they need.
Hmm.
And then we
Yeah.
can't judge needs. It's just what is.
Yeah.
And I
And I
even
think,
have people,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, no, and I think that's one of the things that people really need to understand too, is making your your concerns, what's bothering you, very clear. We don't make it clear. We try to sugarcoat everything and beat around the bush and kind of not step on anybody's toes because you don't want to be too rude or you want to be that person. But like you said a couple of minutes before, how you express yourself and talk to your
Yes.
partner, and how you say we. And I think a lot of people, we need to spend time on the languages that we use
Yes.
and stop being
Yes.
so demanding.
Yes.
A lot, because there's a lot of demanding languages. What are some demanding languages? Because I know a lot of people. I want if
You should,
hmm
you ought to, how come you don't? In fact, even the question, Keishon,
yeah,
why did you do this? Why don't you? Just if we could eliminate the word why,
hmm
would start a lot less fights. It implies intent. And in therapy, we look at the difference between intent versus impact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You might intend to get your needs met, like you intend that you want your boyfriend to step it up, but the impact of your inquisition is
Mm-hmm.
what caused him to back off. So they're not aligned. Watch your intention and pay attention to the impact. Also, the best way to look at someone is eye to eye, face to face contact.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is on somebody's face. Okay. I watch couples and now on Zoom, when the guy does the eye roll or checks
Mm-hmm.
out, we're done.
Yeah.
Done. I got to stop this and go repair what's happening there,
Yeah.
because now you're just talking over him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So based on everything that you know, you've been doing this
Yeah.
for a long
Yeah. I know.
time.
I
You've
know. I
met
can talk
different
for
people
hours.
from
Yeah. Yeah.
from all over the world, right? So what is the best piece of advice, right? The best piece of
Yeah.
advice you can give people in the dating experience who's looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right.
Yeah.
So people who, and the things that I've heard, we probably heard the same things.
Yeah.
I will never find a good man. There are no
Of
good
course.
men out
Of
there.
course.
There's no good, no good women out
Yeah.
there.
Sure.
So what are some good advice you can give people who are
Well,
struggling with
I can
dating?
give so many pieces of advice. I wrote a post about this. Like, people have this idea, if you want to love somebody, you have to love yourself first. And even
Yeah.
that's kind of controversial, because you have to respect yourself. You have
Mm-hmm.
to honor yourself, respect, and see yourself as worthy. You don't have to be perfect to date. We get this idea like I'm going to go off and heal myself or something,
Mm-hmm.
but we heal, Keishorne, we heal in relationships. A relationship with God, a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with someone else. That is where the healing happens. So you can't necessarily go heal by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're never going to feel ready. You need to do it. And then do the 5 steps that I said. Have a
Yeah.
vision, have a plan, then do all of that. But
Yeah.
you only have to be secure enough. Okay. Then what happens, it's called earned attachment in attachment theory. I'm secure enough, which means I've got it together. I'm acting right. I'm doing the plan. I'm flirting. I'm making it fun. I'm talking about my needs. Then I find a good partner that mirrors me. We work well together. Then I heal later. And it takes
Mm-hmm.
about 5 years in a good relationship to then heal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So be secure enough to get going in the process. Look for a good partner, then heal together.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what about the people who are, what was the word that I have, feel like they'll be single forever?
Yeah, well, that's a mindset that you got to change your mindset. Back to step 3. If you
Yeah.
have that thought, you're going to see negativity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the couple, think of the woman who is just like you, who just found somebody. And if she found somebody, why can't you? I mean, I
Yeah.
just came back to thinking it only takes one. Why won't it happen for me?
Yeah.
Maybe this guy is the one, instead of thinking he's not the one all the time and being
Yeah.
threatened all the time. What if this is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
And that's the thing too with people. They have to change their mindset. You have to change the way you view and speak to yourself. We speak to ourselves so negatively, it's ridiculous. Every time it's like, oh, I'm not going to do this, or that's not me, or they're bitter, or they build resentment, So a lot of it have to do with what you just said.
And a lot of it, I'll tell you another tip that I tell everybody, is
Hmm.
keep a journal. And the
Yeah.
journal is prompts for yourself. I love myself. I deserve love. I'm worthy of love. But
Hmm.
then keep a journal when you actually start to date someone, because unconsciously you're picking up on all this stuff about them. And later, if you went back and read your journal, you would see those pieces and those traits.
Hmm.
But because you're so wrapped up, because I said love is blind, and you're so
Hmm.
wrapped up in the dopamine and the positive experience,
Yeah.
you're not really being truthful, and or you're hiding and not really speaking up. But if you are accountable to yourself and you're writing it all down, or working with a coach or a therapist, then you're going to be more likely to keep that relationship on track.
Yeah. Yeah.
The biggest thing, and I tell you what, you probably have clients who do this too, is
Hmm.
you fall in love and you're getting hit with all the dopamine. You think, I'm good. I'm going to
Hmm.
drop out of therapy.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then I get the call months or years later, like something blew up. And I'm like, oh my God, if we had just stayed in touch, like
Yeah.
we could
Yeah.
have handled this.
I got about at least 3 on top of my head right now that years later, oh, how's everything? Do I got a story for you? And I'm like, I thought you were good. You left everything and you went off on your way.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like you want the love potion and you
Mm-hmm.
want some psychic to tell you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
listen, I could have told you if we had
Yeah.
stayed in touch.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, I have to let you know that you gave a lot of excellent information. I mean, I think it's more than you can ask for, right? I think a lot of people got a live therapy session here tonight. So a
You
live
can tell I love what
free
I do.
therapy, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
I can see it. I can see it through your ambition, you know. And I go on live with people who are ambitious, who are hungry, and people who really care about people, and people who are really passionate about what they do. And everything you said, and it's not even about what you say, it's how you said it, right? You can hear the energy in someone's voice. You can, you know, when they put in the work because they make sense. Because there's a lot of people online who don't make sense, and I don't say anything about it. I just keep it going. You know, if you don't want to make sense, you don't want to make sense. But I think a lot of people were blessed by this live,
Oh,
because it was really really good.
do we have
Um,
any questions? Do we have time
yeah,
for questions? Okay.
so we're gonna jump in to
Okay.
about 2 to 3 questions for the
Okay.
next like 5 7 minutes,
Perfect. Perfect. I
just
love
so everyone.
questions. Yep. Yep.
Yep, let's get into. All right. So, what is your opinion on going with the flow, guys? Send some questions in the question box
Okay.
below. Yep.
Oh, God. Do you want to handle this one? You go. Let me think.
What is your opinion going with the flow? I mean, going with the flow, like you said, I don't really like the going with the flow part, because
Hmm.
if you go with the flow, that
Hmm.
means you don't really have a plan.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
to the information what you said
Yeah.
before, you need to have a plan. You have
Yeah.
to have a vision of where you want to go, the type of relationships you want to be in, what's not for
Yeah.
you, what's for you. So going with the
Yeah.
flow, no, then you're going to get hit by a bus.
I agree. I think also going with the flow is like acquiescing to what they want. Like you want serious, but they
Hmm.
want casual. And so you're faking
Yeah,
that you're cool, but you're
yeah,
not. And I
yeah.
think it's going to bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's thinking like you're cool, but you're not. Yeah, that is true though.
Yeah.
No, that I
Yep.
wouldn't. Yep. Um, oof, I'm trying to look for a good one. All right, let me see this one.
Only fishes go with the flow. That was a cute one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know what my attachment is? Okay. How do you know when you're secure enough? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. In attachment theory, there's anxiety. 42% of people are anxious. There is avoidant. 27% of people are avoidant. There's people who have had real trauma. That's about
Mm-hmm.
8%. And then there's secure people that are 23% of the population. Okay. Based upon the family they grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, if the majority of people are insecure, right? So, what does a secure person do? If we broke it down and I said, if I grew up in a secure environment, I would naturally have three things. I would have a calm body.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel relaxed in my body. I wouldn't feel threatened by relationships. I would have a calm kind of spirit, and I would have a story that sort of aligns. I would have a positive idea about other
Mm-hmm.
people. And then I would also act with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you could take those three tips, okay, I call it body, kind of mind and soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, body, mind, and soul. And I started acting as if, even if I didn't believe it yet, secure enough, then
Mm-hmm.
I would start acting with confidence in different ways. And I would start elevating my energy and attracting different
Yeah.
people. And the
Yeah.
truth is, I have a course going right now that helps people do this.
Yeah. And that's great, because we're it's similar but different words.
Yeah,
It's just pretty much what I say is the physical, the emotional, and the mental, which
there
is
you go.
pretty much
Yeah,
the
mind,
same
body,
exact
soul.
thing. Yeah, mind, body, soul. So yeah, excellent. Let me see. Oof,
And you'll know when you're
what?
there because of who you attract and how
Oh,
you
this is a
feel.
good one. How do you get someone's attention? Um, again, I guess after the person shuts you down already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is where people want to. I mean, you go. Let me think
Hmm.
about that.
No, I would say, you know, don't fight for people attention who shut you down the first time,
Yeah,
because and it depends how you got shut down or why you
yeah,
got shut down. So that's a different
yeah,
situation. But I would definitely say, don't give people second chances if they really didn't deserve the first, because now if you go back, they'll always think that they can get you back. They can leave when they want.
yeah,
They can dismiss you when they want. And you said shut down. If
yeah.
you would have said anything else, I would have been like, okay, but they shut you
I,
down.
I'm
They
with you.
wasn't
I'm
interested.
with you.
Yeah.
And
Were
I
they
think
second
what
choice? Yeah.
And I think what we do for a person that's already in our life versus somebody that we're dating is very different, right? If we're already boyfriend and girlfriend and your boyfriend shut you down, then that's very different. Then you
Yeah.
want to go deeper and find out what's going on with him. What does he need? Does he just need a little time and space? And you're coming on too strong. But just like you, in this circumstance, I say never go through the trash. It's kind of like, this is why people break up and get back together. And how long is it going to take you to figure out what you already knew the first time, which was that you're not a fit, right?
And another thing that I will touch on when you read this question, I like to dissect the question. She said, well, all right, how do I get someone's attention, right? So it's like you want to get their attention after they shut you down. So now I'm thinking in her point of view, don't get that person's attention. Why would you want to get their attention again after they, shut you down?
I'm gonna go even deeper here, and I'm gonna say this is a need that you have that probably started way before this guy. This was an attachment wound, and that you didn't get consistent attention from your parents, and therefore that inconsistency builds this kind of trauma bond. And now when somebody gives you a little bit of attention, it is like crack cocaine, and you want more of it. But it's really something that happened much, 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 much earlier than this guy. And you're working too hard, and you need to quell that. Again, back to, you need to heal that old wound that you're leading with in all your relationships.
Yeah. See, I knew you had something for it. I knew it. I just had to scratch the surface. I knew it. So, okay, let's go back. Let me see. Where is Bree at? Hold on.
I went there. Oh, yes, I did.
All right. So, but attract unavailable men.
Well, that is my story. I mean, I had my doctor on her. I'm working this, but like, what was I? And the other thing that we didn't talk about, Keishorne, is a little bit of that masculine energy.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're so the bomb in everything else and we got everything going for us, we're not realizing. I ask women this question: do you want to be cherished or do you want to be respected? But you can only choose one. All right. There's no right answer. But the question implies that if I want to be respected, I've got some masculine energy. Okay. And the problem is, if I have masculine energy, who do I attract? I attract my yin and my yang. I attract actually sometimes some feminine energy. But if I want to be cherished, I'm going to attract men who are kind of the opposite, more masculine energy. Okay. So get clear. I had to get clear that I was putting out masculine energy into the world. Okay. And attracting unavailable people because I wasn't also like asking for that directly at the start. Once I got clear with all of this, I literally just showed up differently.
Yeah.
It was like night and day.
I think you said what I was just thinking just now, being direct with it from the beginning. And I think a lot of it goes into asking the right questions in the beginning of of not relationship, but the dating experience. So you have to ask the right questions as well, and also be very direct with what you want and what you don't want. You have to be very clear. And back to what you said again, have a plan. So if you know this, now you know. It's like, okay, this is good, because now you know that you attract unavailable men. So what do you want? Somebody who's available. So now you ask the right questions to see if that person's available as
but
well.
Not too available, because I'm going to tell you, the opposite is like Nervous Nick, my characters, because I have characters for my quiz. And he's the kind of guy who's like a puppy, and he's like too needy, and you're like, ah. Okay? I'm just saying, he's got to have a little bit of swag and be like the man, so he's not too needy too, right?
Yeah. So I have to find one from a man. So this is a good one right here. How do you handle a lady that says she's not attracted to you?
Well, I don't know. You know, what I also say is physical attraction, it can die over time. And it could also be built. And I think chemistry can be built. If you treat someone consistently really well, and you have certainty about them, oftentimes women do fall in love with a man who is certain about them.
Yeah.
Right? Talk to women. There's the ideal of who I thought I was going to be with. But when you ask them who they ended up kind of marrying, it was, he was so persistent. He was so clear. I don't want to stalk a woman, right? I want to respect her boundaries, but if there's a little bit of an opening, treat her well and see if she doesn't come around.
Yeah. Not too well.
Right. Right.
Because a lot of times I see that, you know, a lot of women, or whoever, if they're not attracted to you, sometimes they're not attracted to you.
Right.
And you'll spend the rest of your life or a long time chasing this one person, when there's so much other beautiful women or men out there who can really take care of you and love you. And you got to date with purpose, right? Because the whole thing is, you know, dating with purpose too.
Know your worth, right?
So, and know your, that's, so you always doing these words. So this is good stuff. But know your worth. Know how valuable you are, and know that you don't have to be attached to this one person. When there's someone who will find you attractive emotionally, physically, and mentally as well too. Yeah.
All right.
One more question, because I don't want this to shut off on me, and I'll be so upset. That happened to me before too. You had a really excellent live, and then we missed the time.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Yeah.
No. Okay. I'm trying to look for a good one.
Well, you know, and Keishorne, if we don't find it, that's probably okay too. Right? Or is there a juicy question?
That's one more. It was like,
you start dating after a
that's
breakup.
the last one.
Oh my God. Okay. This I got to answer.
Yeah.
So people think that, you know, you're on the rebound if you start dating right away. But interesting enough, the data says, the literature says that secure functioning people start dating sooner than others. I mean, there's people who want to go back out there and get their self-esteem needs met. Yeah. But the anxious person will ruminate forever. What's wrong with me? I need closure. I can't move on. And that's not healthy. So find a good mix between like confidence and getting back out there, and don't fake like if you're still hung up on your ex, but don't wait forever. Okay? Because you're waiting for a sign or waiting to have a certain feeling, and it could help you move forward through the old breakup by meeting a great person again. So I don't have parameters, but I say the data says secure people move on faster.
Yes, and that's an excellent question. I would touch on that or go deeper on that, but we're pressed for time. So thank you so much for being here. I can't thank you enough. I really love and appreciate your existence and your presence that you brought today, and your energy. We absolutely love it. I could tell by the comments, the likes, you know, my text messages, my friends, and, you know, people who's on right now telling me that I'm going to let her answer my questions for me. But, you know, they're loving it, and they really enjoy it. So we're definitely going to have you again.
And what you do for your community is just amazing.
So you can let people know what you have for them in your bio and how they can find you.
Okay, perfect. Go to my website, backtolovedoc.com. I have a free quiz. Take my quiz. I also have 7 tips for dating success. Sign up for that on my website. And then I have this course going, Find Your Flavor, because we all come in different flavors. You want to find your person and help figure out, is he right for you?
I'm gonna end it now. And then if you want to jump back on. Okay.